So I've been thinking about wildlife lately. I know, that's a strange thing to be thinking about around the holidays, but I can't help it. We have a running practical joke at our house that involves stuffed penguins, a large rubber chicken, a trial, a judgment, and lots of little rubber ducks. Too much to explain here, but suffice to say that our house can be a little out there at times. Fun, but out there. So back to wildlife, right? I have penguins on the brain. I have a little penguin in the tree here, so I'm going to start with them. Did you know that penguins huddle to keep themselves warm and keep their eggs safe? You probably knew that, or maybe you could have figured that out. But did you know that they rotate toward the center of the huddle when they need to get warm? And then once they're warm, they move out to the outside to give someone else a turn. You sort of have to do that when you're in harsh, Antarctic winters, right? So the instinct to take care of themselves as a whole group, is the thing that really interests me. There's no selfishness where penguins hog the middle of the huddle all to themselves. It's just natural for them to have the same goal: take care of themselves and take care of their young. Similar concept with geese. Okay, when a gaggle of geese are on the ground feeding, there's going to be one or two sentries that are on the lookout for danger. And then they rotate sentry duty automatically so that everybody gets a chance to eat safely. When they migrate, it's even more interesting. The reason they fly in a V formation is so that the geese in the front reduce the air resistance of those behind them. They can fly 70% farther as a group if they fly in that V formation than they would flying on their own. 70% farther. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I find that percentage really amazing. But the other thing they do is that the geese in the back, they honk encouragement to the geese in the front. I love that. They all have the same goal, right? Safely and efficiently get that gaggle of geese to their new location. So both penguins and geese are examples of animals who share the load. Every one of the animals in the group has to be on the same page and be clear on the goal. Otherwise, it doesn't work, and the survival of their survival and the survival of their species is at stake. Wouldn't it be nice if the human species acted the same way? Imagine if we had all the same goal and worked together to make it happen. No selfishness or greed. And I'm not talking about a political system. I'm just talking about a mindset of cooperation. And I think we should just cue the John Lennon song right now, right here. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do good, seek justice, help the oppressed, defend the cause of orphans, fight for the rights of widows." What if that one Bible verse was the natural instinct of all humankind? What if that was the natural instinct of the big C, church at large? What if every Christian church in the world did just those 5 things and they didn't worry about the small stuff? No worrying about which one of the thousands of denominations that we have is right about the smallest minutia. Just cooperation to love God and love our neighbors. Amazing, right? Now let's go back to those penguins, because I found some kind of startling information when I went to confirm some things for the devotion, and here's what I found. We've all seen penguin huddles, right? I mean, just thousands of penguins are all together, but here's the part I found incredible. Researchers at the University of Strasbourg in France studied 3,000 breeding pairs of penguins in the archipelago colony in Antarctica, 2005, 2006, 2008. And they found that the penguins don't stand completely still. Every 30 to 60 seconds, they move. And when they do, all their neighbors around them move the same way. There's a scientist named Zitterbart, and he kind of called it like a traveling wave. You know how like you do the wave and in a stadium, everybody's doing the wave? Well, it's kind of like that. It's a traveling wave. Huddled emperor penguins move kind of like heavy traffic does through along a freeway. And over time, those small movements that they make lead to just huge, large-scale reorganization of the huddle, just as like small movements in a traffic jam are going to move to eventually everybody getting to where they need to go. And he actually showed pictures of like time-lapse pictures of the huddle and how They all move, and it was just kind of amazing to see how much it changed from those little incremental movements. So coordinated movements, and they're all made for the good of the whole community. That's what the church at large needs to be, a coordinated movement of people who have the good of the whole community in mind. Small movements, all made in the same direction, which would lead to large-scale change in the huddle. Everyone looking for ways to do good, seek justice, help the oppressed, defend the cause of orphans, and fight for the rights of widows, just like it says in Isaiah. But the movement has to be coordinated. It doesn't do any good if each one of us is working separately. It's better when we share the load. When the Christian church first started way back in the second chapter of Acts, it says all the believers were together and they had everything in common. They sold property and possessions and gave to anyone who had need. Can you hear the concept of the penguin huddle there, or the geese flying formation? Common goals all reached by working together. So back to the penguins, I have one more thing with these. I found that in my research, so it says when Zitterbart adopted traffic flow models to the penguin's behavior, he found that any given penguin can trigger a traveling wave anywhere in the huddle. All they need to do is step 2 centimeters in any direction, and all of the closest neighbors around them will do the same thing. But the thing that they found amazing is that it only takes one penguin to leave the huddle to cause the whole thing to break apart. So one penguin going off on his or her own can make the whole huddle break up. One penguin with a selfish goal, a goal not in line with the rest of the huddle. The Big C Church at large and we at Trinity have a lesson to take from the penguins. If we want to do what God wants us to do, we have to work together. Everyone doing their own little part, moving their own little space, but all working toward the common goal. Not one penguin going off and trying to do it all by himself. The world is too harsh out there. That penguin could be eaten alive, and our world today can eat us alive too. The young and the vulnerable people in our world need the church to help them. Just like the Acts 2 church did, together, one goal, one purpose. Love God, love your neighbors. Have a great day.